the hierarchy work in the industry? Because there are a lot of people who say that some sets are very democratic, and then some sets are very everybody has a certain position and all that, and not getting into which one is which.
Yeah.
But did you find yourself being able to approach like a big actor and say and just maybe pick their brains about something? Was that possible at all when you were a clap AD or when you were anything else, or were you just like, okay, I'm going to do my job and just observe?
No, I think I've actually spoken to most of the actors on set, and they were always very gracious to because at the end of the day you're working with the same people for like 6 months and 8 months. They do really end up becoming your family, and even as actors, you want to take that break for 5 minutes and just have a casual chat with people around you.
Right.
So that's always happened. I was, of course, very, very enamored by films and very enamored by the actors that I was working with. So I've not really gone and had like lengthy conversations with anyone. But I've had incredible conversations with Karthik. I've had very, very good conversations with Ranveer actually. I had even asked him, he has this music process, he listens to a lot of music and he used to have that on set. So I remember I had asked him, what kind of music do you listen to? And he had given me a really cool tip. He said that I listen to music without lyrics. And I said, why so? He said, because I'm still thinking of my dialogues. I don't want to think of the words that are being said. I just want music. And I thought that was incredible. Like, there was something new that I learned, because I'd heard people talk about music helping them and music evoking emotions. But I realized that he's actually right, because if you're hearing someone's words, then you're kind of transporting yourself in a completely different emotion.
Right.
But a music piece without lyrics can make you still, you can still keep thinking of your scene and help your this thing. So that I learned from Ranveer.
That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because
Yeah.
I think these are the things that you want to hear about process, right?
Yeah.
Now, can I assume that you're someone who slowly, you didn't have anything called a process, but over time, because of all this, you developed a process of your own?
Yeah, I think a fair share of what works for me, what doesn't work for me, I started testing waters. But yeah, I would say that because I kind of started hearing other actors talk and grasping things, I started figuring out, okay, does this work for me? Does this not work for me? Yeah, I started doing that.
So let's take Forgotten Army,
Yeah.
which was your television series, and let's take Bunty or Bubbly 2. Were these two, again, the results of auditions?
Yes.
Okay.
Both of them, yes.
Right. So can you say which scene you auditioned and
Yeah.
how tough it was, or like did you get a call from a casting agent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for Forgotten Army, I had given multiple rounds of auditions for many different things with Mukesh Chhabra sir, and Mukesh sir obviously used to cast for ads and many other films which I had auditioned over the years. This particular one, when I remember I went in and they made me audition for this one scene in Forgotten Army itself, where I am in my photo studio and me and my father are talking, and my father
And you
said,
play a chameleon.
yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
And my father says something. I'm basically looking at, the fact that, this happened. I'm reading a newspaper and I'm talking to my father, and my father's like, there's this big conversation that happens with me and my father about how they're trying to raise an army, and he says that, yeah, but army is no place for a woman and things like that. So there's this conversation that happens in the photo studio. So that was my audition scene, and then I did multiple rounds where I did other scenes as well, where I meet, there are two other characters in them, the two soldiers, which is played by Sunny and Rohit, the two of them, and there's this one scene wherein I click a picture of theirs. And I say that, oh, they come to my studio, then I run out and I say, this is your picture that I clicked during the march. So that scene also I had auditioned for. So it was purely an audition process, and Kabir sir had come in for the last round of audition where two actors were selected for one role. And there were like some 10-15 of us, and then they did this permutation combination of actors saying, why don't you do this scene with this person, why don't you do this thing with this person, and then we did like a round of auditions with multiple actors, and then they finally came to one conclusion.
Phew, right?
Yeah.